All right, guys, we're back with another episode. My name is Esteban, the host of the Producer Fury podcast. On today's episode, we've got Luca, aka Produced by Lack, an 18-year-old producer who is still a senior in high school from upstate New York, who started on GarageBand during COVID and turned that into real industry placements in the future. From basically doing cold outreach, working with artists like D-Thing and Lackville. So his story is all about the hustle, the timing, and staying locked in. My friend, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great, man. So, just tell us about your journey. Kind of give us an idea of where it started, and then we'll just go from there.
It started kind of in sixth grade, a little bit before COVID. My dad got me an iPad because he would make beats on GarageBand, and I always thought that shit was cool as hell. So he got me my own. I started doing it, and kind of went from there. I just started making like comethazine type beats because that's what was fire at the time, and that's what I listened to at the time. And they weren't good, but everybody starts somewhere. And then I kind of just stopped doing it for a while, and then COVID came, and then I went on like band lab in seventh grade when I was home all the time, and I would be in class on the call, but I would just be making beats and shit instead. So I wouldn't really um, get on FL until I was like 15 during the summer, and I found the cracked version of it, and I downloaded the trial mad times before I'd found out that you could get it for free. And for some reason, when I downloaded the cracked version, it just clicked with me and it started like making sense for some reason. Because like before the trial version, I would just get it, I'd look at it, I'd be like, man, this is like insanely confusing. Yeah, and then I just ever since then it's been lit, and I've been making beats nonstop. Yeah, it's basically where I'm at right now, and I've been doing it for about on FL for about maybe 4 years,
Hmm.
and in total probably about 6 years making beats in general from all the
Nice.
different DAWs I've used. So yeah.
So 6 years in, and you're only 18, which I think is crazy. Like for some people, like 6 years in, they're probably closer to their 30s or like in their mid 20s. So
Yeah.
I find that insane that you started that young. So starting off, like what kind of you mentioned comethazine, but like were there any other genres that you kind of fell into and then you stuck with, or were you messing with like all types of music?
Um, I kind of so when I got on FL, I went to drill because that's what was like popular around like 2020, 2021, and that was probably I mean it wasn't a mistake, but it definitely wasn't. I wish I didn't start with that and only do that cuz I would post them on YouTube and stuff and that was cool and all. And but like at the same time, I wasn't really getting placements with anybody, but I kind of went to drill for about like maybe 2 years. I would do like all the different types of drill beats and post them on YouTube. I got some placements. I wound up getting one with D Thing um, during the summer after my 10th grade year, which would be 2024, I think.
Mm-hmm.
24. I do mostly everything. I even during that time I would do some like rage, opium stuff. Every once in a while I'd change it up. Detroit, Philly. I like Philly beats. I used to make a lot of those, like Skrilla and Guani type of beats. That was kind of like my cycle. Was like just kind of Philly and drill, really, and but mostly drill. Yeah, basically, in the past like year, I just kind of stopped doing drill because you don't really. If you don't know already, I'll let you know now. Drill rappers don't pay. 99% of the time, they will straight
Yeah.
up tell you, I am not paying for that beat gang. And yeah, basically that was one of the reasons, but the other reason was because I feel like every time that drill changes, it's worse rappers, worse type beats. I made good drill beats, nobody wanted to use them, and if somebody did, they probably weren't even paying for them anyways, so I kind of just thought, you know what, forget it. Honestly, like the drill beats that I made were good, I wouldn't want anyone to use them because of all the rappers that are so bad nowadays, like, I wouldn't want to hear them out, they'd ruin the beat, but, yeah, and also the thing with YouTube too is I don't really post on it anymore that much because I feel like there's a difference between being a producer and a YouTube producer. Rappers aren't going to want to use beats that are on YouTube already because someone probably already has. They're going to want stuff sent to them. And I mean, sometimes they will use beats that are on YouTube and stuff, which is cool. But I mean, I had the Beat Stars and everything going. I got a few sales, but you know, it wasn't anything crazy and it wasn't really worth my time. I wasn't really pulling views. And when I was doing like the drill beats, I would do fast drill, and I was probably the number one search result for fast drill. But that's because nobody else did it, and I got views for it, but that was because I was like the only one doing it. And yeah, I kind of just stopped with after that. And but TikTok's definitely a good place to go for posting beats. I still do that every once in a while. I'll post a beat on TikTok, like a little video with the music video muted and the beat over it. Um, because more people are scrolling. Nobody's. I mean, if you think about it, I see myself scrolling. I catch myself scrolling more than I'm like clicking on a YouTube video because there's always an ad or like
Mm-hmm.
two before the video. And a good way to get yourself out there is definitely putting your content on things that people scroll onto, like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, all of that. Because, I mean, just about, do you scroll or do you watch YouTube more? Be honest. What do you
No,
think?
no, I'm scrolling. Actually, I take it back. I do watch a hella YouTube. I do, but I can't lie. I doom scroll a lot. Like, and my thing is,
Yeah.
actually, I've been intentionally trying not to doom scroll, but I find myself doom scrolling like before I sleep for at least an hour on TikTok for sure. And I agree. Like when it comes to, that's funny because now that my TikTok out now that I've been like doing these podcasts, my TikTok algorithm has been showing me like more producers, like just like people who are like not even well known. But I don't even fully listen to their beat. If within the first 5 seconds I like it, I just leave a comment or like what I'm saying, like it and then scroll to the next one. I don't even fully listen to it. But
Yeah.
so you kind of use like a content strategy. Is that how you ended up with D thing in 2024? Or like what was that placement like? How'd you get that?
That was really like really crazy coincidence timing. So I had I don't remember which rapper it was. I had gotten a whole contact list from a producer that was from like the city, and he like knew some rappers personally. He had a whole contact list, and one of them was what's his name? It might have been it was what was his name? Damn, L.A. Drilly, I think it might have been. Yeah, it was L.A. Drilly, and I sent him the beat that D Thang wound up using, but after that, like a day after, I wound up posting it on YouTube. D Thang X Jerk Drill type beat and whatever. But then my friend, one of my lifelong best friends, who also makes beats, Wiz Up, make sure to go check his shit out. He's tough as hell. He's been doing it longer than I have. He went to a studio like event type of thing in New Jersey, and he was in there, and D Thang was there, and it was a lot of drill rappers like Busy Banks and Shajis and all that. And he heard my tag while he was there, and he started recording immediately. He told me I went to sleep, and then I woke up and I seen the text, and it was like I read it. I was half asleep. I thought it said, "Yo, I got a placement with D Thing," because I knew he was going there, and I low key wanted to go too, and I was kind of jealous. I was like, "Oh, that's fire, bro. I'm happy for you." Anyways, long story short, I get in the shower, then I get dress shit, come up back in my room. I check my phone, and then I was like, I reread the message. I'm like, he said you got a placement with D Thing. I was like, oh. So then I'm looking on Instagram. All these people are telling me, "Yo, you got a placement with D Thing and Yavi DG and all that." And now I don't know if the rapper LA Drilly showed him the beat that I sent him to his phone, or if they found it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But the craziest part is that like my lifelong best friend was right there at the time that he played that song. He was like, "Yo, this is his tag,"
World.
and that was like the first placement that I got. It did not drop, and I've already like talked to a bunch of people that have gotten placements with D Thing. I would not have gotten paid. That's how like he's a popular drill rapper, but that's how drill rappers
Bro.
are. Like even he won't pay. I know a couple
Jesus.
producers that have literally been like told no to payment by him, and part of it, especially now, because that was a while ago, and even then they weren't
Hmm.
really drill. Kind of was starting to fall off, but now like these M.59 type beats, like the drums on them just like don't go together, and the rappers aren't making probably much money off of their songs in general, so I don't see why they would pay for a beat.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where it's like if you're gonna be in a studio making a song and you're under a label, you gotta pay for it. Like you can't just be like nah, because I'm not making enough money off the song. But that's just how it works. But the song wound up never dropping. Oh, and then not like about like maybe almost a year after, I was scrolling on TikTok and I found someone streaming, and it was like Busy Banks rapping on that beat, and I guess he was a part of the song, but I don't know if he was on it. I had the unreleased version from a stream that they did like a song wars with on Discord, where D-Thang was there with a couple other rappers, and they played that song. It was a diss on the Troopers, Keglas, and Noonie the Third, and I didn't hear Busy Banks' part, and then I was like, damn, did they cut him from the song? So there's like this little clip that I found on TikTok that was just like Busy Banks' part is like maybe like 15 seconds. I was like, damn. So I kind of had a Busy Banks placement, but either way, it didn't wind up dropping, and it wasn't D-Thang's song. It was actually the rapper Yavi DG, who's like allergic to dropping music or something, because he drops like he doesn't really drop. It's like he makes a song so it can sit in his files or something. I don't know, but that was like my first big placement. That shit, like the first couple days after that, I don't want to sound like ridiculous or nothing. Like it didn't feel real, because like I was listening to him
Mm-hmm.
since before. Like I really took this seriously. Like I would be like, "Yo, this is fire,"
Yeah.
and I was really happy about that. And it didn't wind up dropping, but you know, it's cool. A lot of rappers, I think this goes for all rappers. They have more unreleased music than they have released, and that's mostly just because they have so much stuff that they don't know if they want to release it or not, or if they like it, but they'll just do it in the studio at the
Mm-hmm.
time because they're feeling it. But yeah, maybe I think that was just one of those songs that they're just probably not going to post, mainly because that rapper doesn't drop music that much. And if it was D-Thang's song, I think it would have dropped. But yeah,
That's crazy. So, I mean, you basically, your friend accidentally was just at the right place, right time, where with your beat
yeah,
tag on it, and you wanted to be exactly where he was at. It was like a writing camp, or like, I don't know, it was like a beat making camp.
yeah,
And yeah, he heard your beat, and then he told you like he's on your beat, which is crazy because you didn't even send it to him directly. So my thing
right,
is like, and so it's like, what do you do? And I know you mentioned like getting contacts earlier. So like, what's kind of like your thing, and what's the advice you'd give to like producers who want to find themselves in more predicaments like that? Like, how do you go about kind of like sharing your music with rappers who may potentially share your beat with other rappers? Like for that, like for that instance. So like, what do
yeah.
you have a strategy, a method? Like, what's your thing?
Really, it was just a whole like you can like select a bunch of contacts, make them into a folder, and send it to somebody. And it was like 50 different rappers that this guy just gave to me, and it's not really they weren't all like big rappers. One of them was YBN Namir, I'll be honest, and I FaceTimed him as like a joke because I didn't think it was him, and he had his arm up. I
Yeah.
seen his tattoo. He hung up immediately, but it was like some random like rappers in there that weren't drill rappers. Not random, but like just like we got D Thang, all these drill rappers, and then YBN the mirror, but stuff like that. But honestly, that was just like given to me. But one thing I do recommend doing is trying to hit up producers that have worked with the artist,
Yeah.
because tagging them on your story, they might see it. But like I look at stuff that I get tagged in, and I might not even listen to her. I'll just look at it real quick, because I
Hmm.
mean, if you're like looking on Instagram, you see someone tagged you, you see it, you kind of already know what it is. You don't, no one watches it. If you hit up producers that have worked with these artists before, or that are currently working with them, and sometimes they'll post like, "Yo, I need loops, FLPs for so and so. DM me if you're interested," or something like that. Make sure if you got what they want, and even if you don't like limit yourself to, I don't got those type of loops, I'm not gonna hit them up. Make them, make those type of
I
loops.
agree.
There's no reason you can't. That just don't be like, "Oh, I don't make those type of beat." You don't ever say that you don't make those type of beats. Make beats. Make beats, not
I
type
agree.
beats. Make like just beats. I feel
I
like the
agree.
type
So
beat type of thing is just kind of like gets repetitive because it's a lot of the same.
So then, what's it for you like right now? Because I know like you mentioned like drill rappers don't pay. So like, are you trying to tap into a different genre or a different like I don't know type of sound? And like, how do you go navigating that, or do you just experiment and just go from there?
I kind of just do what I like, just kind of experiment and go from there, but in a way I try and go towards more like trap and more mainstream stuff, but not like Lil Baby mainstream yet. I'm planning on getting there, but like I'm working with this rapper right now named Lackville, who I met in the city, and I got a pretty good song with him. and it was actually the first time he's ever rapped on a beat that he didn't make, and he
It's
messed with the
crazy.
song heavy, and I was there, um, in the city at the right place, the right time. I was going just to go with my friend to stay at his cousin's house for a couple days, and I seen because I had been in contact with Lackville previous to like going to the city for a while and sending him beats, and I sent him the beat he used, and that was the one that like I knew he would want to use it, and he hearted it in the message. But he said on his Instagram like notes thing, like where you click on the DMs, you can see a little speech bubble. It says New York, I'm here. What's the word? And I had his number, so I called him up. I said, "Yo, you're in New York?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yo, I'm like literally on the China bus right now on the way there. Do you got a studio session tonight?" And he's like, "Yeah, pull up." And I was like, "Word." So I wound up going. Long story short, he pulled up. We did the song. The shit went pretty good. It took him. It didn't take him long at all to do it. He records himself too, and it took him about like, so what he would do when he was rapping, he would kind of play the beat, kind of go like almost like mumble something, and then kind of rap in that same way that he mumbled, but like actual words. And that's like how I think he did it really fast. It's like his workflow is like kind of listen to the beat, mumble over it like a pattern or like a rhythm you want your voice to rap or sound like, and then start spitting. And it took him about, I'd say, like 20 minutes to make the whole song.
That's insane. Real quick, I want to take a brief pause from the episode to share something that can genuinely help you if you're a producer. Most producers spend hours scrolling through Spotify or Instagram trying to find artists that match their sound. The problem is that most of the time, you're searching blindly and hoping you come across the right fit. That's where Producer Fury comes in. Producer Fury's Finder tool helps you discover artists in your specific niche based on how they sound. You can also filter artists by Spotify monthly listeners and Instagram followers, making it easy to find artists that fit the exact stage of growth you're looking to work with. Check out Producer Fury for yourself. Click the link in the description and use promo code ESTE407 to get 20% off your membership. Now back to the episode.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? So for people who are not from New York, tell them what the China bus is.
The China bus is the bus. Oh man. So my friend that I went with, we both went down together. He said he's taken that bus 50 times. So it's the cheapest bus, okay? When I was
Yep.
there, the drivers didn't speak English, hence the name. Um, and on the way back, I wound up leaving early without my friend. The tire popped. You know, don't take that bus. I'd rather spend an extra
Nope.
$20 than freaking like be late. Like the tire popped and we wound up leaving the spot we were parked at when the tire popped, like at the time that I was supposed to be back in Albany. So it was just really inconvenient. I asked the driver like how much longer it's gonna be, and he was like, "Yes, I go to bathroom." I was like, "No, I'm asking." Like, very bad communication. Don't go on the China bus, please.
Bro, the China was it like $10? I don't know, $10 a ticket? It's crazy.
No, I
Something
was more
crazy.
expensive than that, but that's like how
Oh, that's
expensive
crazy.
buses are. Yeah, and it was
That's
some weird
crazy. They
dude
upped the
looking at like
price.
girls on his phone next to me. I don't
It's
even want to
sketchy.
go there. It was a weird
Yeah.
bus. A lot of weird
Uh,
people.
Yeah, for people who don't know what the China bus is, it's basically the cheapest bus you can take. And I don't even think it's regulated by like the state. It's like some like it's low key underground. I don't know how to explain it, bro. Just
It's on like that ticket app. It's like the bus ticket app, but it's like really
is it
weirdly
okay?
set
So
up.
it is kind of legit. I've
Yeah,
heard people like I heard some people like they sometimes there's no seats and you just stand like you just stand for however many hours the ride is like crazy shit.
I think everybody
Um,
had a seat where I was. That was probably one of the worst experiences ever. Just having to be on that
it's
bus because there was
terrible.
this big dude that had to take a shit while we were all trapped in there. I was like, bro, and the whole thing stunk. It was like the tire popped, and after that, everything got worse. So,
It's
but I
crazy.
made it back. But you know, don't take the China bus unless you're
Don't take
really
the
like
China
feeling
bus.
lucky, because that was the first time and the last time I will take that bus. And my friend's taken it
Okay.
50 times, he said, and that's never happened. I don't care. I'm not
Nah,
going.
dude. So talk about, I mean, how do you navigate the industry and getting paid as a producer? Because you mentioned like job aren't paying. So have you ever had an experience with an artist, with a label, or like any situation where you got paid and like they were just giving you like trouble?
Yeah, when I got a placement with actually, so the rapper that D-Tank dissed in the song, not like maybe like that winter after that summer, I got a placement with Noonie the Third and Winter the Brat. Me and my boy Armas did. We made a beat for them, and we were gonna get 200 each for the song. their label, we contacted the label. Usually the label's supposed to contact you. So that was already like one thing. Right. And then we were talking to them about the payment and stuff, and then we just stopped getting answers. I would follow up like maybe every week. Be like, hey, how's it going? Just checking in, seeing like why you guys aren't responding. Have a good day. And then like 3 months of that, and then we get an answer that they switched members on their team. So all the people that we were communicating with before are like irrelevant. They don't even have anything to do with it now. We have to restart over. And this took about 7 months after that song dropped just to get $200. And
It's insane.
it really says like how much labels care about like what rappers they
Mm-hmm.
prioritize, and it shows because like that song, it's a good song, but it doesn't have that many streams or anything, and or like views on YouTube and stuff like that. So like 200 was like probably like I we should have asked for a little more, but that was like my first time receiving payment from a label. And yeah, it was very like it was a hassle to have to do, especially with having to like upload form. I never did any of that stuff before, so it was hard to do like and figure it out because I was like 17 at the time, but I know now how to do it. And yeah, but that was definitely like one of the like that was the first time that I got like paid professionally. Some small rappers would cash at me like some money for a beat, and I'd send it
Yeah.
to them. That was like the first time like a label, like I had to get paid by I got paid by a label. And I don't think that getting paid by a label is always going to be a bad experience. It really depends on the label and the rapper, and labels do tend to kind of prioritize rappers. Well, can't say rappers that aren't doing as well as others. They prioritize the ones that are doing good and getting their label more money. So that makes a lot more sense. Unfortunately, why they made me and the producer that was also on the beat kind of have to wait for the payment. Probably because they could care less. It's like $200 out of their pocket for that was like
Mm-hmm.
it's really probably nothing, but it's like something they could care less to do. And it's also just like drill rapper shit, bro. It's just always something. And that was like the first and only time so far that I've gotten payment from a label for a placement, and that one did wind up dropping. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of annoying. It was cool when I got it. It's crazy that it took 7 months because I'm pretty sure they're supposed to pay you before the song drops.
Right.
Actually, yeah, they are supposed to pay you before the song drops, labels, but you know, like I said, drill rapper, even the labels were kind of moving weird. But yeah, that was my experience with getting paid by a label.
So, I mean, is there anything you would do differently? Like, is there anything that you see yourself doing in the future to help you get paid faster and more? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because $200 in 7 months, like all due respect, you might as well just have kept the paycheck. Like, if I were you, I just at that point,
Me
like, what the
too.
fuck, like, you know? So, like, do you see yourself like moving differently professionally, or like any advice that you would give to like producers who would listen to this?
Don't settle with something. Have what you have in mind, and be ready to negotiate. But don't kind of like let
Mm-hmm.
them do. Don't let them name their price. It's your beat. It's your work. You name the price. If they don't like it, you guys can find an agreement or settle with, or like find like a kind of negotiation with the price that works for both of you. But another thing is too, don't work with drill rappers. That's another thing. Like 90%
Dude,
of them won't pay.
that's
And
hilarious.
um yeah, and always the label should hit you up first before the song even drops. And if that don't happen and the song drops, hit up the label. Give them a little bit to answer because I mean labels are busy, mad artists under the label. But if it goes about like a month or two, maybe try contacting them again. But there is always like the option to take the song down, which I don't like to do because it kind of
Yeah.
seems like I'm pissed off. But when you take a song down, you really got to think about it. Like you don't want to be like the one that gets pushed around. Be like, oh, he just wants the placement. He's probably happy to have the placement. We don't even got. He's not gonna take the song
Exactly.
down. Take it down. Don't let them like take advantage of you like that just because you're happy to have the placement. Because that's how you're gonna start being known as that producer that's like doesn't do shit about not getting paid. And
Facts. Yeah.
it definitely goes without saying that rappers will constantly go back to the producer that doesn't care about getting paid and just cares about getting the placement because it's free, basically. And I've heard of that
Facts.
happen like once or twice.
So like so then where do you come into play when it's time to talk about like royalties? Like do you is that conversation brought up before it's dropped or well obviously before it's dropped, but at what time is that conversation brought up for you if you bring it up and like what do splits look like for you, when it comes to rappers using your beats?
Um, it would depend on the artist. It always is going to depend on the artist because if it's someone like Ken Carson, then it's going to be a lot more than someone like I don't know, like Skrilla, for example. Like there's a big popularity and money gap for that. So royalties usually it kind of just like you should probably hit up the artist about that because the artists don't really text first. But or no, not the artist, the label. The label should hit you up about the royalties and stuff, and you got to find an agreement with that. But when you get royalties, always make sure you're not getting skimped out on anything, and make sure they're not like taking advantage of you, especially with new producers. Like they will know kind of if you've ever had a placement before, especially if you have your placements in your bio or anything like that. If they don't see anything, they can kind of like if you don't know what you're doing, they can do whatever they want with you, and you could wind up with like $100 when it should have been like 1,000. You know what I mean? Because they
Yeah.
labels they'll try and not spend as much money. They'll try and spend as least amount of money as they can. But who wouldn't, right? But I mean, it's messed up that they would take advantage of like new producers. But that's why I'm like telling people, always make sure that you're not being like fucked over basically and like used or taken advantage of just because you don't really know what you're doing yet.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, it's a good thing that you actually experienced that now. Like you're only 18, bro. So imagine 25, 26. So you kind of have an idea of what like the next steps are. You know what I'm saying? In terms of if
Yeah.
you end up in that situation again. So like my question to you is, because you mentioned like with certain artists there might be a gap in popularity or like with their budget, like with however much money they have. So how do you know how much to charge or do you just charge the same all across the board, like regardless? And also, like, how much would you value yourself and your beats right now, like if you don't mind sharing?
Um. Well, my beats. So the value it would depend on the artist. I would be charging more for a rapper that's got way more popularity and streams and money in general than a rapper that doesn't. Because you know what I mean. It just changes the value of the beat when it's being used. Because when it's being used by an artist, it doesn't change the quality. It changes the value of it. When it's the artist is a bigger artist, it will definitely have a greater value, and if it's a smaller artist, it won't have as big of a value. And it could be the same beat, but two different people, and you will want to charge a different price. I would say that my beats, I don't really have like a set price for each one. I would like to say that I would like have them all equal, but you know what I mean? It really depends on if someone's using it, and then that's when like the value of the beat comes in, depending on who's using it. And that kind of just goes with like knowing like what you're doing and knowing who you're communicating with and like all the different like people that you have to go through with labels and stuff just to get a payment. It really depends on the artist. Like if it's an easy thing to do and it's a professional artist that's like big, like mainstream, like someone like Cardi or Lil Baby or whatever, it shouldn't be too hard to do that because those labels should be quick about that stuff. But like with the one that I did that I got like the 200 for, that was Republic Records, but it was like
Mhm.
there's so many people under labels, a lot of people aren't even heard of really, and those labels will definitely act different when it's comes time to pay like producers for this rapper versus that rapper that's more popular. And usually if it's a really popular rapper that's already locked in with a producer, they've already like gotten paid by this label before. For a different song, it will go pretty easy. But yeah, for the most part, my beats, I don't I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, I don't have like a value or a price until someone's planning on buying it and who that person is, if that makes sense. Because they're all free for nonprofit. That's one thing. If you're not making
Yeah.
money off your music, you can use my shit and do whatever you'd like. Be my guest. But if you're
Yeah.
making money off of your music with my beat, that's basically like my song too. I'd like some of that money. If it's a problem, I'll take the song down. But I don't like to do that. I've only had to do
Yeah.
that once, and it wound up getting put back up because the artist paid me on Cash App. But that was like the one time I had to do that. And yeah, don't always like, oh, I didn't get paid, immediately take the song down, because that is how you ruin connections. You can definitely ruin like future opportunities if you're known as the guy who doesn't get paid the minute that the song drops. They should hit you up before, but like if they don't just take it right down. That's kind of like crazy, especially if the artist like just dropped it like a week ago. Give it some time. They should hit you up before, but at least give it some time, because once you take that song down, that shows that you're like, I mean, you should, because they should pay you, but like, you know what I mean? It can ruin connections pretty easily, and I've heard of
Yeah.
that happening.
So how are you finding out if like artists are using your beats? Like, are you using anything, or are you just finding it on your own, kind of like by coincidence? And like, what's that process like for you?
Honestly, if I find it, I find it. I find like random
Okay.
drill rapper videos, like J. Dot Bands G's or someone named something ridiculous like that, and it'll be like one of my old drill beats. I'll be like, huh, cool. It won't be. I won't hit them up for payment because like A, I've never heard of them. B, like I'll look on like there's like all those music video YouTube channels that are like for drill, and I look on them, and there's like
Yeah.
each video it's like this rapper that'll be on the title, and you'll never see it again. It'll be like somebody off the block that just wants to make a song. I won't really hit them up for payment because I know they're probably not making anything. If they are, it's like they would have to have another job to keep getting money, to be honest, because it's like that's what I mean. Like if it's an artist that's just making a song for fun, you can have fun. I'm not gonna charge you for
Feel
that.
that. I
But
feel
yeah, if
that.
I find it, I find it. I don't really look for it, and I feel like if it's a placement that I would that's worth me knowing about, like a big one, I would find out from somebody, or I'd find it myself. Um, because if it's like a big enough placement, it'll come eventually around.
I
But
agree. I
yeah,
agree. So, I mean, you're from New York. You live in New York, actually, and a lot of people would feel like, yo, that's so much opportunity. You're like the perfect place to be in, besides like LA or Atlanta. But what they don't realize is like you're in upstate New York, and I feel like a lot of people think New York City is like New York itself. They don't realize it's like a whole state and it's gigantic. So, like, I guess like you live really, really far from the city of New York. So how is it being like where you're located? Like, is there opportunities, or do you just have to make opportunities online? And like, what's that like?
it's definitely harder to work with people up here in person, and like the type of people up here, it's like a whole different world from the city. It really is. Like everybody's white. Well, everybody acts white and it's just is white, and it's like everybody's just kind of like the same up here, and like preppy. Like at the school that I go to, and like in the city, there's all different kinds of people, which I love. I like seeing different people, different cultures, different everything. Living up here, seeing the same bland, dull, boring stuff every day when you go outside with nothing to do. It's very boring up here. There is some things to do. There is studios, but there's really no artists from upstate New York that are like that known. There is some. Selly Paper, I've heard of. He's like, you really only know him if you're from upstate. That's like the type of artist that he is. And not saying that he's bad or anything, but like that's like what I'm saying. Like he's like an artist from upstate that's pretty well known, but in upstate. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like that's how it is. It's not easy to find like artists to work with, because like like Lil Baby's not gonna come from wherever the fuck he's at to upstate New York to go to a studio. Like he
Yeah.
will not do that. Like you have to go places and travel to, like I went to New York, and the first time I went there, I mean it was a coincidence, but I was in the studio, boom, song placement. That's not gonna happen every time, but like New York, definitely a hot spot for music and working with people. And there's constantly people in and out of New York, artists, everything. So if you can get in contact with somebody that owns a studio, or somebody that's at the studio that knows when a rapper's come in, or even if you just go to a studio to make beats, it is. I was making beats because the rapper Lackville Loki showed up a little late, studio owner said I could set my shit up in there, so I did. And I was making beats. It is definitely way different than doing it at your desk with your headphones on. It sounds different. It feels different. And it's just overall like a way better experience making beats in a studio than it is at home. But like, I don't got a studio. There is some
Yeah.
around here, but not anywhere really near where I live. Like maybe like the closest one might be like 40 minutes away. So
So like what's your I mean, right now you kind of live so far from the city, and you're 18 and you're about to graduate high school. So like I mean, what's the ideal like future for you that you see for yourself? Like going all in with the producing, or you want to do something else? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what do you, because you have more placements than some people get like almost ever, and as adults, like, you know what I'm saying? You got your first
yeah.
placement at like 16. So it's like what do you do after high school, and like what's kind of the plan if you have one?
I'm looking into getting a welding certificate, but I'm 100,000% continuing with beats because that's just something that I find fun in general, not even like as
Yeah.
work. I just do it like every day. I make at least one beat every day just because I wouldn't be able to fall asleep if I didn't. So, um, but I definitely see myself moving a lot forward, a lot in music after high school. I think what I've heard from people that graduated high school, you unlock like the whole map once you graduate. Like high school is such a small, it seems long until you graduate, and then it's like the real world. But there's so many opportunities
Yeah.
music wise when you're able to go places like the city, studios, all that type of stuff. And I mean, I've already done that, and I'm still in high school, and I don't do it frequently, but like that was like the first time that I did, and I got a placement. So like, I can only imagine what more is to come, and that's what I'm looking to do is definitely continue producing and still have that welding ability to do that because I do like welding. That shit's fun as hell.
It's actually something you like. It's not something like you want to do just because it might make you more money. I mean, it might
It does
obviously,
make a
but it's
lot of
just
money. That is something
yeah.
that I like about it. I like that
Okay.
about it, and I like doing it too. It is fun. It's kind of like
Okay.
both. It's perfect.
Nice. A lot of people might think like that's like a plan B. Like, how do you feel about, what people might say like, oh, that's a plan B. You should go all in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or if you have producers right now who are trying to like balance both, or thinking about, getting a trade and doing producing, like, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I don't really look at it as a plan B. I just look at it as like I want to do both and I want to be able to do both and I can do both. I mean, I make beats perfectly fine in high school right now and have time to do that and work and all that stuff. And I looked at the schedule for this welding thing I'm going to. I only got to go 3 days a week, not even for like a full school day. And then I can just chill after that. And then it's like I'll be able to do that and make beats probably more than I can do school right now and make beats. So I
Hmm.
don't really look at it as a plan B because I have wanted to do it for a while now, especially because I can't. If I had the option, if it's the option to use my hands and do something with my hands rather than sit at a desk and go to college for something that I'm probably not gonna use in my life, like the degree that I get, because a lot of people go to college to party. They get a degree in
Yeah,
like
seriously.
psychology, and then they wind up working at like fucking McDonald's. So that's basically
Yo.
like I mean, and I think like a trade is something like you don't have to be a professional like welder full time when you get your welding certificate. It's something you know how to do. Small jobs, if somebody needs something welded, you have the equipment, you can go do it, make some money. And if there's companies that are looking for people to weld for them, you can do that for a little bit too. And I think trades open up more opportunities than college degrees do because a college degree in something is just for that. And it's just for
Yeah.
that. And that's the job that, and there's a job that you need that degree for, and that is the one job. Like welding's way more versatile, way more opportunities with it in general. Like anywhere, everywhere, everybody's looking for somebody to weld something somewhere. So trades are definitely a
No.
better route for me at least.
Yeah, that's super important. It's funny. I feel like I'm seeing like, it's funny. I've actually been seeing more commercials for trade schools instead of
Mm-hmm.
like colleges. And I'm not, and that's like a sign for me, especially like in marketing and sales, like, okay, the market is going to shift and more people are going to get trades instead of getting degrees. But it makes sense anyways, because I think there's like a shortage of trade people in trades.
Well,
So
there
like
is.
it makes sense that like, yeah, people like you are going into getting trades. But that's cool, bro. So what I want to know is like, if you can go back in time, I think you said you started in sixth grade, when you got your first like iPad or tablet. If you could go back in time and really look back at your journey and speak to yourself, is there anything that you would change that would make it a lot easier or that would help you get to where you're at now a lot faster?
I would probably go back and tell myself to change my name to Prod by Lack because I had like three names before that were kind of stupid. But in all seriousness, I'd probably go back and just tell myself to do what I did and what I'm just go with it. Just do what you're gonna do because where I am now, I'm pretty happy with. And I don't want to change that. I got the placements that I got. I'd love to have a big placement, but I will get one someday. And the only way you can there's you don't there's not a, it's not that people don't make it, it's that a lot of people don't make it. It's more that a lot of people just give up. You'll make it, you just can't give up. And
Yeah.
that's an important thing. And I didn't give up, but I just tell myself, yo, keep doing what you're doing. I'll see you later, and then I'll come back in time and like sit back in the gym type shit.
No,
But
that's
yeah,
fire, bro. I appreciate you, man, for like, just setting the time up with me and speaking with me and talking about your experiences in the industry, giving hopefully giving better insight for the producers who are watching this who are trying to get their feet in or get their feet wet. But yeah, brother. So just
yeah,
tell them
for
where they
sure.
can find you or where they can reach out to you, any apps
Um,
or social
yeah,
platforms.
Instagram prod by underscore lack, TikTok prod by lack, and Discord prod by lack too. If you got loops, anything you want to send me on Discord, Discord works better for me than email. So that, and then yeah, that's basically it. And I have YouTube. I don't really be uploading it on YouTube anymore really, but I do have a YouTube if you want to subscribe to that too, whoever's watching. And yeah, that's basically it.
Sweet, bro. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for
Yeah, no
hopping on
problem.
today. That's it for today's episode of Producer Talk. If you got value from the conversation, be sure to subscribe and follow the podcast for more interviews with producers who are building real careers in the music industry. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.